In this video, we're going to discuss one of the most slept-on campaign types on Google Ads, display campaigns. Many advertisers struggle to make display campaigns profitable beyond basic retargeting. So in this video, I will guide you through how to set up effective Google display campaigns and make them work even for cold audiences. Display ads are really different from search ads, which is what most beginner advertisers are most familiar with. When you advertise on the search network, you're using keyword targeting to reach people who are actively looking for something. Often these people are ready to buy. In contrast, on the display network, while you can use available targeting options to reach your potential customers, they're probably not shopping for anything. They might not be ready to make a purchase from you right now, and probably they have never heard of your brand before. So in this way, display ads are more similar to social media ads than to search ads because display users are typically not in the buying mode when they see your ads. That's why display ads are often used for retargeting specifically, because once someone has already interacted with your brand, you can stay top of mind and give them extra push to convert them to a sale or a lead. Whether it is offering a discount code or emphasizing urgency and scarcity, you can close a lot of sales or leads this way. However, there are a couple of serious advantages to using display network. First, the display network covers most of the internet and reaches about 3 million sites worldwide. Second, most advertisers misunderstand and underutilize the display network. As a result, display ads allow you to reach your potential customers much cheaper than on a search network. Another similarity between display and social media ads is that display is an extremely visual ad format. I'm sure you've seen those banners and image-based ads across various websites like news sites or blogs. Those are the display ads. While they primarily revolve around images, display ads also use videos and some simpler text-based formats. It goes without saying that your images should be high quality and aesthetically pleasing. And most importantly, they need to be able to grab attention of casual web browsers who are not currently shopping. Also, of course, your ad needs to be super clear in terms of exactly what you're offering or selling, or people won't understand what your ad is about and it will just go over their head. So make sure to get your creative right. I will make a separate video on how to design amazing display ad creatives. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you don't want to miss that upcoming video. Also, I've made a list of my 10 top performing headlines on Google Ads that you will be able to use for your display campaigns as well. You can download the list for free at the link in my bio on my Instagram or my X page at Google Ads Nerd. Okay, we discussed that it's pretty easy to make display work for retargeting, but how do you make it work for new, cold audiences? Well, try to think about it by putting yourself in the shoes of your potential customer who have never heard about you and are just browsing the web. How do you make them take action when they see your ad? From my experience, your display ad needs to have some sort of wow factor, either through a great offer or highlighting a key value proposition. Ideally, something that only you can offer and people can get nowhere else. This is because one of the best ways to spark and hold someone's attention is by offering them something really compelling. Maybe it's a promotion, a bundle, or simply an attractive price. If someone sees an ad with a great deal, it makes them feel like they cannot afford to miss out on this. If you're not running a specific promotion, you can still emphasize your value proposition or something that sets you apart from your competitors. For instance, if you're a SaaS company and you offer more team seats for a lower price than your competitors, that is something to highlight in your ad. If you're a lawyer, you could use a selling point like, "You don't pay unless we win," to grab people's attention and clearly and concisely communicate your competitive advantage. All right, now that we've covered the basics, let's dive into how to set up a display campaign on Google Ads. So here I have a Google Ads account open. To create a campaign, click this big, beautiful create button at the top left, or go to campaigns and click this blue create button and click new campaign. Under your campaign objective, choose whatever makes sense for your goals. I'm going to select sales. If you're collecting leads, you can select leads. Under your conversion goals, choose your goal. For sales, so typically you're going to select your purchase event, then click continue. Under campaign type, select display, then add your website URL. Here, for the purposes of this tutorial, I'm just going to add a random URL, then click continue. Under campaign name, enter your campaign name. I strongly recommend you to use a proper naming convention so you can easily find and manage your campaigns. So here I'll name this campaign display test campaign, then click continue. Under your locations, choose the country, state, or city you want to target. Under location options, make sure to select presence option, people in or regularly in your included locations, because otherwise by default the setting is on presence or interest, which means that it will show ads to people who don't live or are regularly in your targeted location, but also people who've shown interest in your included location. So make sure to select presence, unless you have a business reason to choose a presence or interest, but in most cases, I recommend presence. Under languages, choose the language that your customers speak. I'm going to keep English. Then you have more setting options. Under ad rotation, I recommend leaving it under optimize, prefer best performing ads. Under ad schedule, I recommend leaving it under all day, unless you have a specific business reason to advertise only on specific days or specific times of day. Under devices, you can select all devices or you can select specific devices. Usually I keep it on all devices. Campaign URL options, you can leave unchanged. Then under dynamic ads, you can add your feed. So if you have a merchant center connected and if you have your feed set up, you can connect your feed here. So I'm going to select a feed. And once you select your feed, you're also able to apply certain product filters to your feed. So if you want to show only specific products from your feed, go select filter. And here you're able to select different filtering options. You can filter by product type, brand, grouping, condition, and your feed labels. But in this example, I am not going to apply any product filters. And you can also choose your campaign start and end dates. Personally, I never set an end date. I always have it running without an end date. But if it makes sense for your campaign, do it. Personally, I don't. And then finally, you're also able to apply some content exclusions, meaning that you can prevent your ads from showing on certain content like content for teens or mature audiences, some sensitive content, like, for example, when there is profanity or when something sensational or shocking is happening in the content. You can also exclude some certain content types, like live streaming, embedded videos, below the fold, parked domains, etc., etc. So in my opinion, this is really a business decision that you need to make. From Google Ads perspective, I wouldn't recommend excluding any of those placements unless you've tested them specifically and you have identified that certain types of placements don't work for you. Or if your brand is such that you don't want to be associated with certain types of content, you can also do it. But personally, unless there is no business reason or there is no branding reason to do any of these content exclusions, I prefer to allow Google Ads to optimize and for its machine learning to identify the best content for the businesses that I'm managing. So once you've selected your exclusions, you can click next. Next, you need to set your average daily budget for this campaign. In this case, I'm going to set it to 50 euros per day. Under bidding, you need to select your bidding strategy. I've recently made a video about bidding strategies where I went through all bidding strategies on Google Ads and when to use them properly. So if you're not sure about what bidding strategy is right for you, I recommend you watch that video. For this case, I'm going to optimize for conversion value, and I'm not going to set a target return on ad spend in the beginning. I prefer first allowing the campaign to run for at least a month, ideally maybe 2 months. And then based on the data that I have received, I would set my target ROAS. But for now, I'll leave it just optimizing for conversion value. Then click next. Here you need to set your targeting. By default, Google Ads is going to set optimized targeting for you, which essentially means that Google Ads is going to use information from your landing pages and your assets to set up targeting for you. You can click Learn More here to see exactly how optimized targeting works. But in the beginning, I recommend you not use optimized targeting and actually set up the targeting options so that you can give Google a little bit of a direction in terms of where Google should look for your ideal customers, and that can speed up your optimization a little bit in the beginning. So first, you have audience segments. Here you're able to define audience segments based on some targeting options like their demographics, their interests and habits, what people are actively searching for or planning, how people have interacted with your business, or any combined audience segments and your custom audience segments. So here in search, you can try different keywords that are related to your product and see exactly what targeting segments Google has available for you. When it comes to demographics, I rarely touch this unless there is a reason for me to target just married people or just parents or a certain education level and so on. Primarily, when I use segments, I target with interests and affinity segments, and I also like using in-market and live events, also really useful. And finally, if you have a retargeting audience, or if you are setting up this campaign specifically for retargeting, you can select your website visitors or maybe your old purchases, your cart abandoners, and depending on your strategy. So in this case, I will just select a few options just for the sake of this example. And now that we've selected some targeting options, now you have an option to opt out from optimized targeting, so you can uncheck it here. Additional target options that you have is demographics. If you want to reach people based on their gender, their age, their parental status, or their household income. Note that household income targeting is only available in select countries. Personally, I rarely touch demographics as I prefer allowing Google to find the best demographics for me. Another targeting option you have is content targeting by keywords. Here you're able to select some terms that are related to your product or service to target relevant websites, apps, and videos. So if you have some data from your search campaigns, you can add keywords that convert for you, that drive a lot of traffic for you, that you think are your top value keywords. You can add them here. You're also can see some suggestions from Google here for you based on your relevance. And by clicking a plus sign here, you can add some keywords for you. Under keyword setting, you're able to decide how keywords in this ad group will be used to target your ads. You have an audience option, which lets you target ads to people based on their interests or sites they visit. But Google Ads may also use the data from your audience sources to improve the bidding and targeting of your audience campaigns. And our content, it allows to show your ads on web pages, apps, and videos that are directly related to your keywords. And Google will not be trying to improve or optimize your targeting and go beyond it. Therefore, this option may significantly narrow your reach. But in the beginning, when you're just starting out, it's okay to be a little bit more narrow because you're trying to give Google the best direction possible to find your ideal customers. And once you've started gathering conversion data, once Google found your ideal customer, then you can let Google optimize and go beyond your audience and try to find some customers outside of your targeting. So in the beginning, I recommend you select content here. You're also able to target by certain topics, which allows you to target many web pages, apps, and videos about a certain subject. So here you can use again the search function to try some keywords and find if you can find a topic that is related to your product. This option is a little bit broader than keyword targeting, but I still think that it's useful. So if you're able to find a topic that is highly relevant to your product or service, I recommend you also give Google a topic or two to target. And then finally, you can also choose specific placements for your targeting, or more specifically, websites, videos, or apps where you would like your ads to show. This is probably the narrowest targeting option that you can choose. By default, your ads will be shown on different websites and apps and videos that match all the targeting options that we've already chosen. But here you're able to select a specific website, specific YouTube channel, specific app or app category. So for example, if you wanted your ads to show on a website like Daily Mail, for example, you can search for this keyword and see what websites would match your search for. So for example, if I choose this, my ads would just show on this website. But in the beginning, unless it's a part of your strategy just to target specific websites, specific channels, specific videos, specific apps, I recommend leaving this option broad and not set any specific placements. But it's still interesting to test and see maybe slightly different approaches to different types of app categories or different types of websites. But personally, I found that in the beginning, it's best to leave this broad. And then as you allow your campaign to run, you can check exactly where your ads have been appearing. And then you can try to narrow by specific placements. For now, I'm just going to leave it broad. Make sure that you have use optimized targeting unchecked and click next. Next, you need to create your ads. So first, enter your final URL. If you've entered it in the beginning, it will be automatically populated for you. Enter your business name. For this example, I'm just going to use a random name. Under images, you can add up to 15 different images, or you can try to generate images with Google AI. I've tried this feature and it works pretty good, but images of people and faces aren't supported yet. What you need to do is describe the kind of image you want, and you can also even select your aspect ratio and add some reference images. But for this example, I'm going to just select a few of my old images that I've used in the past, not necessarily related to this example, but still just for the purposes of the tutorial. Then you need to add up to 5 logos. I recommend adding a square logo and a landscape logo. And by the way, you can hover over this little question and see the guidelines for different types of content, like for images, for logos. Next, you need to add videos. Here you need to make sure that you have your YouTube channel linked with your Google Ads account. And you can enter your YouTube URL here to add a video, or if you added any videos to your campaigns in the past, they will be saved here in your asset library. So I'm going to select a couple of videos here. Next, you can add up to 5 headlines. And here, if you click more ideas, you can get some suggestions from Google. I highly recommend that you first enter all 5 headlines. I often see among different Google Ads advertisers that they don't use all available headlines and descriptions. And if you're doing that, you're shooting yourself in the foot, as giving Google more assets to work with usually increases its chances of finding the right asset combination, finding the right combination of an image with a headline, with a description, or a video. If you're just adding a minimum amount of headlines and descriptions, then you are not giving Google as much to work with as you could. So here I'll just enter a few sample headlines. But if you're looking for assistance with your headlines, I highly recommend you download my top 10 top converting headlines on Google Ads. It's free, and I think it will be really helpful for you, and it will increase the click-through rate of your ads. You can download the list at my link in bio on my Instagram or my X account at Google Ads Nerd. For now, I'll just use some sample headlines. Next, you're able to add one long headline. This headline will show when there is enough space for it to show. It will be usually shown by itself without a description. So keep it in mind when writing your long headline. And finally, you're able to add up to 5 descriptions. Again, I recommend you using all available description options. I will just copy paste some descriptions that I've done in advance. So I'm done with the descriptions. Here at the top, you have your ad strength. And as you can see, Google is saying that I need to add more images to increase my chances for better performance, as I added just a few. So I will just quickly go ahead and select some additional images so you can see that once I give Google more images to work with, it's going to update my ad strength to excellent. And this is usually what you want to see. However, don't let it discourage you if you see an ad strength that is not excellent, because not everything that Google says is good is necessarily best for you. But usually, as a rule of thumb, giving Google more assets to work with is usually good. So once your ad is completely set up, you're also able to select a few more options. First, you have additional format options. Here, you're able to use asset enhancements, use auto-generated video that Google is going to make from your headlines, your descriptions, and your images. And you're also able to use native formats, meaning that it's going to add some colors or some format based on the placement where you're advertising. I highly recommend you leaving all of those on. Then under URL options, you can leave this unchanged. And under more options, you're also able to select the custom call to action text. Like, for example, you can select shop now, you can select get quote, see more, subscribe, install, apply now. Personally, I prefer leaving it automated. And you're also able to select custom colors for your ad, specifically your main color and your accent color. But if you've selected native formats, here you're also going to have some native color options selected here. And I also recommend you sticking to this option. So now that we're done, you can click next. And our campaign is almost done. Now this is a review stage. You can quickly check all the settings that you've done for this campaign. I recommend that you rename your ad group to follow your naming convention, whatever it is. I will use something like this for the purposes of this example. And once you're happy with all your settings and you reviewed your campaign, you can click publish. And just like that, your campaign is ready. I hope you found this video helpful. Please subscribe to the channel for more valuable videos on Google Ads, and I will see you in the next one.